Morning Team Network members. Yep, it's Monday morning and it's time for another edition of Coffee with Curt. Thank you for joining me here today. Last week I spoke a little bit about Team Network 3.0 and how we're winding down in our beta test. So I guess it's time to ask you, how's your group doing? How is the concept doing for you? And in fact, what has Team Network done for you lately? Maybe that's something you need to ask yourself. It was President Kennedy, though, who said when he was talking about how to better our country, he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. And that may actually apply to Team Network as well. If you want Team Network to improve, I can't imagine what it would be like if everybody, just gave. In fact, I think B&I's more well-known slogan is givers gain, and that certainly applies, I think, in life and in networking as well. So maybe that's what we should do is try to give. But of course, the interesting thing about that is whenever you give, it feels so good that it really helps you. I know I feel great when I am able to help a fellow friend, business person in a time of need or challenge. Like I just had a Marty this week that I attended, and afterwards this Team Network member came up and said, my husband's in a bit of a career change, a life change. Can you help me, maybe refer me to a life coach? And so I sent her an email the next day, and I said, you know what? We have a great speaker at the NetFest coming up, and Susan Samakow. And she is a life coach, and one of the things she specializes in career transitions and when people are kind of stuck. So I encouraged her, and maybe even to bring her husband to visit that meeting. So that's going to make me feel good if I'm able to help her. Another story is, speaking of the NetFest, we had a speaker come in, Cliff Chiat, who I've known for years, really great guy, and he spoke, and while he was speaking, he mentioned that his son was a videographer. And our fellow team member Boots Harris spoke to him about that and got a chance to meet his son and shot several $1,000s worth of business and for commercials. He's running commercials on Comcast. So Boots is thrilled with the work that Cliff's son did. And I ran into Cliff on Thursday at that big event that Payroll Network did, and Cliff came up and pat me on the back and said, God, I really want to thank you for inviting me to speak at your group. It really helped my son. And I just felt great about that. I got an email today from a fellow team member who's got a colleague who's going through a divorce. It's a really tough situation, and he needs a divorce attorney. And this individual found somebody that had a decent hourly rate, but they wanted a $5,000 retainer, and he just doesn't have that kind of money. So he reached out to me for some help and advice, and I'm going to make a couple phone calls and try to help him. I have a coffee service in Team Network. Rachel, who Endless Coffee was struggling with team networking, not getting enough business out of it to really justify the fees, and she reached out to me, and I've already done an email introduction to Headlines hair designers. I introduced her to my accountant. I've got a couple other people that I think that she's possibly going to be able to hook up with coffee service. So sometimes you just have to ask. The squeaky wheel oftentimes get the grease. Government Services down in Virginia called me and said, Curt, we need somebody right away. We need a disaster restoration company for a client, and we need some help there. So I hooked them up with ServPro. Frank Flaherty's been with Team Network, fantastic guy. Had them connect right away. Felt great to be able to help team members. So, when you do help your fellow teammates, you're also helping yourself. We have some really awesome team leadership in Team Network, and they need your help too. They're really working hard to improve your group and make Team Network all it can be for you, but they can't do it alone. I can't imagine there's not a team in Team Network that would benefit from a half a dozen new Team Network members, and that's one of their main concerns is growing the group, and they're out there working hard and inviting great people, but a little bit of help from you. And in fact, you team captains, sometimes, again, maybe the squeaky wheel concept will work for you too. Just reach out to your fellow teammates. I don't mean just send out, hey, we need more team members. If you need an attorney in the group, call the financial advisor and say, hey, do you know a good attorney, or if maybe the attorney is going to know a good insurance agent, or the electrician's going to know a good home improvement contractor. Maybe some personal contacts like that. Team Network members, punches, one-on-ones, organize a power team meeting. The point is, do something for your group, help your team, reach out to your team captains, ask them what you can do to help them and help the team network be more successful, and it's going to feel great. And if everybody worked together, the whole concept is really going to be much more valuable for everybody. So that's my word for today. Thank you for joining me again, and we'll see you next time on Coffee with Curt.